Today on Suncoast View, keeping our kids safe at school. The latest school shooting has us asking what else needs to be done. We'll discuss.
A thought-provoking new exhibit comes to the Ringling, examining advertising and how it impacts how we think about race and gender.
And hold on to your boots and your hats. We're getting ready for the Manatee Ranch Rodeo and testing our cowgirl skills. All that and more right now on Suncoast View. Welcome to the show and welcome back to Florida Studio Theaters. Rebecca Hopkins, great to have you with us.
Always a pleasure to be here. I love coming and doing this show.
Well, we need you twice as much today because you're not counting incorrectly. We are missing a friend. Joey Panic, unfortunately, has fallen sick with the flu, which, as we know, is a big, big problem with everybody. And, you know, we're getting to the point, and I know you have this happening in your offices and schools, too, that you just can't keep finding fill-ins because everybody's fighting it. So we're just going to do our job today with one less person.
Yeah, no, it's happening everywhere. We're dealing with it at the theater. I mean,
what do you do at the theater? I mean, you have to have the character.
Well, you have understudies, first off, and second, in a lot of our shows, our actors have actually stepped up and covered each other's tracks. So they've taken on their role and the other role, particularly in the musicals. And so, but the whole theater is
a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of
you
pressure.
have to work hard to do it, and they've been amazing, and the audiences have loved it. They've loved the excitement of, wow, they pulled that off.
Oh, right. Have you had anybody have to go on set on script?
Not yet.
Okay.
No.
Do you have any tricks? I may cough at any minute, so I'm sitting here with my fingers crossed. Do you have tricks in the theater if you start to cough or sneeze or something?
Not really. It's like you're doing. You've got everything going. I mean, the whole backstage looks like it's been bathed in Purell. If a staff member shows up sick, they're sent home immediately because we're trying to keep it out of the cast.
Exactly.
Because once it gets in, forget it.
Yeah.
I was told if you're going to sneeze, look at a bright light or put your finger under your nose.
I'm going to tell you, if you're going to sneeze, I want you to get up and run off this set as fast as possible. We won't judge.
Well, if you see my eyes go up and my finger go up,
sneeze.
Oh,
it will.
Yeah,
really?
that's what I
If you
thought.
look at a bright light, it will make you sneeze.
I have been tricked all my life. All my life.
You've been humiliated a whole bunch for no reason.
Well, we're glad you're here. We're glad Linda is hanging in there with her cough. And yes, we did want Joey to stay home today, and that's okay. So we're also glad to have our friend Keith back in the kitchen from Brick's Smoked Meats. I'm sure you have the cure for all that ails us. What are we making today?
I don't know about that, but today we're going to focus on Thunder by the Bay, bar snacks and cocktails.
Perfect. All right, and we actually have been talking about Thunder by the Bay all this week, so we look forward to learning about the bar snacks and cocktails. So Thunder by the Bay will actually be downtown on Friday, and then the actual big event is out at the fairgrounds on Saturday and Sunday. So we did talk to them briefly on Wednesday's show, but due to all the news events happening, I know not everyone has been able to see all of our shows lately. So we'll get all that information back out there. But big weekend in Sarasota.
Always a big weekend.
Yes.
Every weekend's a big weekend. We love that. You know what else is happening this weekend that is a big deal is that pop music icon Barry Manilow is coming to town. And I just learned that this is his first visit to Sarasota. This is his Sarasota debut. I know, that's shocked me. But he has not been at the Van Wezel before, and what I read online, here's the big info. There are still tickets available. So this show is actually part of the Van Wezel Foundation Gala, but I think people have gotten a little confused. You do not have to have a gala ticket to buy a ticket to the show. There are seats available to see Barry Manilow even if you are not attending the gala. So Van Wezel wants you to know that, and I'm sure they will go very quickly today.
Oh, yes.
And I saw him in Vegas. It was an amazing show.
It's an amazing show.
He's an all-time great.
So yep, to have him right here in Sarasota and have tickets available is a big deal. So jump on that if you are available. That is on Friday, February 16th. It is time for our first hot topic, and obviously our hearts are breaking for everybody involved with the South Florida school shooting. This is the 8th school shooting already this year, causing injury or death. That makes them much more of a tragic reality rather than just a rare tragedy. How do we keep our kids safe at schools? A tighter campus lockdown, metal detectors, more armed security guards, more active shooter drills. Outside of a gun discussion, what do schools do?
You know, I don't think there's any way to stop that crazy person, But I did hear kids coming out of the school, from this school, saying they had been drilled and it told them what to do. So there's no way to save everybody, but at least they know where to go, they know what to do, and a lot of people were safe that would not have been otherwise.
The drills seem to work.
Yes,
and
I agree.
I don't know what to say about this. It's so tragic, and it's such everyday life now. And so you can't keep people safe, but you can run. You know,
Or
and
teach them to hide, which sounds like what they did
run.
well.
And they
Yes.
they followed the drills exactly, and who knows how many would have been killed if they hadn't.
Yes.
Right.
But metal detectors, guards, we're going to need walls around our schools the way we're going.
But this kid was in the school. I mean, he had been there, so he had been a danger for a long time. But, you know, I heard that the assistant football coach died. He stepped up and gave his life to save his students. So we see the real heroes coming out. It brings the bad guy brings out the good guys, and we know there are more good guys than bad guys.
It is true. I'm very proud that the schools have taken up what is obviously a scary subject to learn about as an educator, learn about, and you know, have to discuss with your students. I heard this morning that only 19 states require active shooter situation drills, yet the amount that are now doing it. It's by district that they make the choice to do that. So, you know, I
can't
know.
see how you don't anymore.
Yes,
You
Exactly.
have to.
So the school had been made aware of how one responds to the situation. They had code red as their code, and that part did work. But to even have a firearm cross onto campus unknowingly.
Yes.
You know, I've never thought I'd want to see my children. I mean, I have teenagers in high school. I thought I'd never want to see them walk through a metal detector, but at this point, I think I do.
I do.
Yeah.
I think I
every
do.
child.
And you know the schools are strapped for cash and we can barely do the education we need to do, but boy, safety first. I mean, whatever it takes to finance that sort of, I mean, can you imagine to have everybody walk through the same door, walk through the metal detector? I mean, it's going to mess up the flow of education, but it may keep them safe.
Well,
But this is
it's
the
gonna
greatest tragedy
happen
that can happen.
everywhere because
Yep.
these public facilities, and we all have to be aware of this, and it's a real danger for us all. And I think we're all looking at security and what we can and cannot do to keep people safe.
Right.
Well,
But
the
to not-
theater has to do that, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. And it's a big fear at the theater. And in New York, they've already gone to every theater you go to has wands you have to walk
do.
through, and they bag checks.
How do you handle it at Florida Studio Theater?
Eyes.
Yeah.
You know, you're on the lookout. Anything suspicious. We also do have procedures in place that are introduced at the top, and that this is what to do. And it is what you say. It's hide, flee.
Yeah.
You know, hide first. Get out. If
So
you
your security, your ushers, your management has gone through tactics for how one would handle
Yeah.
a bad situation in a theater.
Yeah, but
it's very
yeah.
interesting and very sad that we have to constantly educate everybody, but it makes me feel better because quite honestly, I had not thought about that
Yeah.
if I were to come to a show, but I would want everybody to be reminded of what to do.
Yeah, but when I
So-
talk to my Broadway compatriots, they tell me, you know, they put these guards out front, but they know these guards aren't going to do anything. It's more to make you feel safe. When
Yes,
these things
yes.
happen, you can't control, you can't make everything safe.
You can't make everything better, but you can prepare to the best of your ability. And I know there'll be a lot more discussion about how we continue to prepare and secure our
And
kids.
each of us watch around us, watch
Yes,
around
you
us.
have to be aware, and you have to report suspicious behavior. That's the best thing you can do, and deal with it. You can't ignore it when it gets reported to you. It's like so many things. You
Right.
can't ignore it.
Eyes open for the signals. So obviously a developing situation and one that we will continue to talk about. Another developing situation everywhere is the flu, as we've been talking about. Florida is still battling its worst flu season in years. A St. Petersburg state senator has filed a bill that would allow pharmacists to test for flu and then prescribe flu meds without the patient having to actually go to the doctor. Now, Jeff Brandis says that this would avoid the days' waits for doctor's appointments that we are plagued with right now, or hours and hours for a costly visit to an emergency room. Doctors argue that it isn't the flu that kills people, however, it's flu complications like pneumonia, and that pharmacists are not trained to check for that. Interesting. I got to tell you, when I first heard this, thought, great, if I could just go get the test for the flu and then be prescribed the Tamiflu quickly and get myself better, wouldn't that be wonderful for everybody? But then when you and I were talking, and Linda's still battling a chest cough, and I thought, I would like a doctor to listen to your chest cough, though. I don't want a pharmacist to just give you something.
Well, a pharmacist
So-
has been wonderful. I'm taking 3 different kinds of cough medicine, and I have a cough drop in my mouth. So I'm doing it 4 ways.
Yeah.
But do we want
has been great.
But do we want the pharmacist to decide whether?
Well, a time comes when you know you're the second step, and you'd better go get more help.
Right.
I think it's tricky. I mean, at least you have somebody seeing people. What's happening now is it's taking 4 and 5 days even to get to the doctor.
Yeah.
And then the Tamiflu doesn't
no
work.
treatment, and
Right.
so the complication has arisen. So you know, this idea of if a pharmacist is looking at you, they're gonna say, "Hey, you still need to go to a doctor."
You need to go to ER.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think it's actually a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be all kinds of extra things that need to be layered in to make sure that they're
Right.
not diagnosing major illnesses and they are still sending people to the doctor. It seems like a
Right.
stopgap.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The first step.
The first
And
step.
maybe not a bad one. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, up until recently, vaccinations, flu or otherwise, were not available at pharmacies.
Yeah.
Now they are. I mean, you know, if they can have this, there was talk about a 20-some hour certification that was required, 20,000, I think it was. It was a lot of hours. Certification that has to be achieved before such thing would be able to work. It's not an immediate solution,
Yeah,
but
when I think of the
kinda
number
like the
of
theory.
people who I have to yell at to get to go to a doctor because it's such a big pain,
Right.
who would go to the pharmacy?
Right.
You know.
Yeah. No, I think as we start to see this become more of an epidemic and know that even with vaccinations, there are years where it's more of a problem than others,
Yeah.
the more people we can get to help, the better.
Yeah.
So, well, the hotly anticipated Black Panther Marvel superhero movie is already on its way to shatter multiple box office records. It is set to open widespread on Friday. So insiders predict a $170 million opening weekend. This is the highest number of pre-sale tickets recorded for any of the Marvel features. That includes Avengers, Spider-Man, Captain America. Co-star Lupita Nyong'o has joked that she's quickly losing friends because she didn't have enough tickets for the premiere to get everybody in. What is it about this movie that is intriguing everybody so much?
Well, he's really good looking. I'll say that.
Then there's that. There is that.
It looks really cool. You have to admit, I'm spitting on myself. The previews and stuff look great, and it is the first superhero movie that I'm excited because I don't know this story at all.
Right. It's not as well known as the others.
It's not as well known, but the whole movie is from this African American culture, and it's headlined on all the way. And I think people are excited about that to see what they'll do with it.
You don't know what's going to happen.
You have no
Usually we
idea.
know how it's
That's a
going
good
to turn
point.
out.
Yeah,
That's
and
a very
so
good point.
It's exciting. I want to see it, but I see all of them, and they hook you in with all their inner stories and stuff, so you have to see it or you're not going to understand the next movie.
Good point. It'll be interesting to see the crowds this weekend. You're definitely going to want to do ticket pre-sales. So the childhood classic Peter Rabbit came out on big screen last weekend, but parents are a bit upset that one of the characters is actually bullying using food allergies. So in the movie, a gang of bunnies attacks a man with blackberries, knowing that he is allergic to them. That forces the man to pull out his EpiPen. So Sony has apologized, saying it is not trying to make light of food allergies, and also said that they never intended to make light of a serious issue. Do you understand the offensiveness of this, or do you think parents could actually maybe turn this around into a teaching moment?
Well, I think it needs to be a teaching moment. My granddaughter in school she was in 3rd grade, and somebody said, this little kid has peanut allergy. So she put peanut butter on the little girl, and of course got sent home from school because she didn't understand how serious that is.
Okay, that's fair.
So kids need to know how serious this really is and treat it that way. But I think it's just funny in the movie. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the mother of a child with food allergies, but I certainly understand the sensitivity as a mother. I think I'm okay with seeing the EpiPen, seeing that food can hurt people, because I think I would like everyone to understand when someone has a food allergy, it is serious business. I know the allergy community has thought that it's scary for kids to have to see someone have to use an EpiPen, but the reality of it is, in a life-saving situation, you need to know that's going to happen.
And they will see classmates have to do that.
Right. Yeah.
So I think it's good to have it out there.
I think it's better to talk about it, even if it isn't the best topic when you are in that situation of a food allergy family, but I think it's better to have the awareness out there. So I'm not sure Sony necessarily needs to apologize for that.
I don't think so either.
We're a very sensitive world, which is sometimes good and sometimes bad.
Sometimes we need to lighten up.
Just a little bit. So the primary colors and numbers of the Uno card game have kept families entertained for more than 50 years. Well, Mattel is now making a sequel. What comes after Uno?
Dos.
Dos, obviously. So the rules are similar, except you make 2 piles of cards, get it, dos, and throw down 2 cards at a time. This comes to Target stores in March. I am personally shocked it has taken 50 years to need to put out a dos. But quite honestly, as we keep hearing, toy sales are down, card game sales are down, everybody's playing electronics, so they're trying to rejuvenate it. I will buy this immediately. I
Really?
mean, well,
Really?
Uno is like the decade-long favorite, so why not try a new one? Maybe it'll get everybody off their electronics.
Oh, anything that could do that.
That's my thought.
Anything that would do that, but if Uno's not going to do it, I don't know if Dos is going to do it.
Yeah, it's not going to change my
gotta give it a
life.
try, you know?
I don't know. It's a card game. No.
The kids are going back to
I'll be
their-
the test. We are taking a family
Yeah.
trip in March, and it's to ski, but you can only ski so many hours a day. There'll be card games at night, so we'll give
there
it a
you go.
try without electronics.
Uh-oh.
All right, we're gonna. Yeah, it won't
Uh-oh.
be very popular. We're gonna check out our happy hour forecast when we come back. Something that is very popular: the Ringling's latest exhibit.
In today's media-driven world, we are bombarded with images and ads constantly. But how has this shaped how we think about gender, about race, even about ourselves? Well, Ringling Museum's newest exhibit examines our ad-driven world, and the associate curator, Christopher Jones, is here to tell us all about it. Now, you have a new artist showcase that you are showcasing. That sounds very exciting. Hank Willis Thomas. Tell us about him.
Sure. So Hank Willis Thomas is a conceptual artist, right? So he works with ideas. And his work explores how marketing, advertising, and branding have shaped how we think about our identities, ethnic identities, racial identities, gender identities, and how those identities have changed sort of over time.
Why did you decide to go with this exhibit?
Well, about 2 years ago, we acquired a set of work, Hank's series of provocatively titled A Century of White Women, unbranded, A Century of White Women, 1915 to 2015.
Really?
And he looks at 100 years of advertising directed towards women or depicting women. And so he represents these images without any sort of logos or ads or text, so we can see images of how women have been depicted kind of through time. So it's a set that we acquired a couple of years ago, and then we wanted to show more of Hank's work in conjunction with that series.
And he has an African-American exhibit. He looks at the African-American and how that's shaped through ads.
Absolutely. So some of the other work that we have on display are some of his earlier series in which he looks at depictions of African-American identity and culture through ads from 1968 to 2008. That series is unbranded, Reflections in Black by Corporate America. And so he takes away the kind of ad copy, so we don't know what the ad is actually advertising or trying to sell. We just see the images of how, you know, black people have been portrayed, and sometimes those are really sort of, you know, disturbing images. Sometimes they're quite humorous as well. So Hank has, you know, quite an ironic wit and kind of sense of humor when he's showing us these images. Sometimes we do laugh at them. Other times they're a bit more heavy and kind of ponderous when we see how black people have been depicted through time.
I understand some of these images have never been seen together before.
So Hank he goes through archives and looks at old magazines. He collects old advertisements, and for about 15 years he's put together his own archive of these types of images that he works from. And so for the first time he's actually lending these to be shown along with his own artwork. So you'll get to see the original kind of vintage ads alongside Hank's new work.
So what do you hope people take away from this? What do you hope what thoughts do you hope that they leave with?
Sure. Well, you know, hopefully people will be kind of provoked to kind of think more closely about the advertisements and kind of consumer culture that we're inundated with. Often we see ads and we don't really kind of think about what sort of messages are being presented outside of what's being sold to us. So I think it's really causing us to think about the history of how we presented ourselves and how we continue to today.
Are you seeing any kind of, you know, trends like with the women for over 100 years? Did it change a lot? Was there a trend that sort of was standard throughout the 100 years?
Well, it's really fascinating because Hank likes to look at, you know, kind of changes through time. And so we see, you know, earlier ads when women are beginning to be marketed to before they have the right to vote even. And then, so those kind of focus on domesticity. Later through World War II, we see women kind of serving in the armed forces and going into the workplace. And then in the 50s and 60s, we see a lot more kind of misogyny kind of reemerge. So we see progress, and then we see kind of the same kind of tropes recurring again and again, like women being presented as, you know, sexualized objects and that. So there's this sort of back and forth we see through time.
I think it's so exciting that Hank Willis Thomas is actually going to be at the Ringling and talk about his work.
He's an amazing speaker, and it's great we've got him to come March 22nd in the evening. He's going to come to speak at the Ringling, and please don't miss it. He's absolutely wonderful to hear.
Fantastic.
What a great opportunity. The exhibit runs until June, and for more information, you can go to ringling.org. Next, a musical review of Shakespeare from the Florida Studio Theater.
Our nation's servicemen and women show great courage and leadership, both on and off the battlefield. When they transition to civilian life, they can apply the skills and values they learned in the military to the workplace. That's why the Coalition to Salute America's Heroes is urging employers everywhere to be smart, bet on a vet. Hiring a veteran is also a great way to show your appreciation for them. To learn more, call 1-888-44-SALUTE.
What if you had a medical emergency away from home?
My chest hurts. I can't breathe.
What you need is Mobile Help, America's premier mobile medical alert system. Most systems only work at home, but with Mobile Help, you get help outside the home with coverage nationwide on one of the largest cellular networks at the press of a button. Call the number on your screen for a free full-color brochure. We'll send you everything you need, including this base station, the patented mobile device, and the waterproof pendant and wrist button. You can also add the fall button that automatically detects falls and signals help. Call today and receive a risk-free 30-day trial. There is no equipment to buy and no long-term contract. For a limited time, you will also receive a free emergency key box with your plan purchase. Remember, Mobile Help keeps you safe coast to coast.
Call 1-800-916-8638. That's 1-800-916-8638.
One of the motivating factors for me to become a Big Brother was that I was mentored as a youth. And it was important for me to kind of pass forward the things that were kind of given to me. It's really just as simple as getting to know a kid. You don't have to be an athlete. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to have any of those other things. You just have to be willing to spend a little time and help mold some young person's life.
Northland Outdoors is about so much more than the biggest fish or the hottest hunting spots. All across the Northland, there are amazing people with incredible stories to tell. We're going to find those stories and share them with everyone. Join us each and every week as we explore the Northland and experience some of the most exciting outdoor adventures in the country right here in our own backyard. This is Northland Outdoors.
Okay, get ready to brush up on your Shakespeare and to laugh out loud. All the world's a stage in the Florida Studio Theater's new musical review based on the world's greatest playwright. And Shakespeare's Greatest Hits is an original work written by our guest host, Rebecca Hopkins and Richard Hopkins. Wow, not only can you talk, you can also write, Rebecca.
I can from time to time.
You wrote Shakespeare's Greatest Hit, you and Richard.
Yes, I wrote Shakespeare's greatest play. No.
We always do that.
I did. Richard and I put together this musical review originally 19 years ago. We did the first one.
Wow.
It was actually my first show at the theater, and we came back to it this past year and had some help from some other people at the theater and updated it and put it back together, and it's a lot of fun.
Where'd you get this idea?
Well, you know, we're in the theater, so Shakespeare is a huge influence on us, and it is amazing how much he comes up in other people's work. And there's all these great songs. I mean, West Side Story, of course, but Hair, Kiss Me Kate, and then there's some really weird songs that were influenced by him as well. So we're playing around with it, and we're like, we think there's a musical review here in this material.
He still influences us so much.
He does. He does. We can't help it. He actually coined so many words that, you know, 10% of the words in the canon he made up. Like, they didn't exist. We don't have proof of them before they were in his amazement. My favorite, rant, because I like to rant.
I like that word.
So,
That's a good word.
You know, how could he not influence us?
Okay, we have got a preview. We have Samantha Joy Perlman and Dane Becker here with us, and they are going to give us a sample from Shakespeare's greatest hits. Take it away, guys.
What a piece of work is man, how noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, in form and moving, how express and admirable, in action how like an angel, in apprehension how like a god, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals.
I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth. This goodly frame, the earth seems to me a sterile promontory.
This most excellent canopy, the air, look you, this brave o'erhanging firmament, this majestical roof, fretted with golden fire. Why, it appears no other thing to me than a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is man, how noble in reason.
Wow, that's awesome! Shakespeare's greatest hits at the Florida Studio Theater now through June 10th. And for tickets and information, you can visit their website. We'll be right back.
SRQ Performance Parts provides parts and accessories from over 300 manufacturers, so you can get that new manifold, carburetor, gasket, bolt kit, or nitrous oxide system fast. We'll help you beat the competition. Call or visit SRQ Performance Parts online today for all your high-performance parts and advice.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sunny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
It's time to take a road trip. Alabama's got 100 road trips, and some of the best are music to your ears, like the Alabama Music Hall of Fame. Or head over to Muscle Shoals and Fame Studios. Are you a star yet?
My mama thinks so.
Or, if that's your stomach I hear grumbling, our barbecue is almost a religious experience. Food good here? Best in the country. Alabama's got 100 road trips.
Which one you gonna take?
Are you a soccer mom or dad? Regardless of their age or experience level, when your kids play soccer or any other sport, there's one person on the sideline who is key to help recognize and seek medical care for sports-related concussion. It's you. You need to know the signs and symptoms of concussion, and you need to act if you think your child has been injured. Remember, when in doubt, sit them out. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/concussion. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004.
I just need a second.
Is your weight holding you back and affecting your health?
Did you see this? Your cousin had a heart attack.
Really?
Excess weight or obesity can be serious, but you can do something about it. Visit yourweightmatters.org. Download the free toolkit to prepare you to speak with a healthcare provider. Your weight does matter. Accept the challenge and take charge today. Visit yourweightmatters.org.
In life after the military, it's our duty as veterans to have each other's back. I'm retired Colonel Greg Gatson, and it's my mission to help you get the benefits and services you've earned. If you need to file a VA claim, remember these important steps. Submit an online claim through ebenefits.va.gov. Work with an accredited Veteran Service Organization, or VSO. And if you need to attend a VA claim exam, please go. Visit this website to learn what to expect.
Here's today's job of the day. ABC7 is seeking a multimedia producer for our morning news program. Strong and efficient digital, social media, and writing skills required. Visit mysuncoast.com/job of the day to apply.
Welcome back to Suncoast View. We're going to check back in with Keith from Brick Smoked Meats. And Keith, you mentioned that you're doing some special things for Thunder by the Bay. Tell us a little bit about the cocktails that are featured this weekend.
All right, we got some great cocktails. They're $9.99, and $3 of the $9.99 goes to Children's Charities and Suncoast Foundation. And that's one of the reasons why we partners with Thunder by the Bay, because a lot of their donations are for children, and that's what Bricks is about.
Cocktails for a cause. Tell me which one you've made there for us.
This is called the Easy Rider. This was developed especially for this event. That's the Easy Rider name, obviously, motorcycle friendly name. It is a Siesta Key vodka, sour mix, and it's got these great spices of nutmeg and ginger, so it's really refreshing, and it's got this great spice to it.
All right, cocktails for a cause. We like it. We'll join you to learn about the appetizers in just a little bit. So yeehaw, get your boots and hats ready. It is time for the 10th annual Manatee Cattlemen's Ranch Rodeo. So being a true cowgirl and cowboy also requires being a good athlete. And Kelly Strasbaugh and Jason McKendry are here to tell us about the rodeo and put us through the ropes a little bit, pun intended. So congratulations, first of all, on the 10th anniversary of the rodeo. That is a very, very big deal.
That's a big deal to us. We're really excited that we've had this event for 10 years, yes.
Tell us why this event is important to the people in our area.
So we always tell people there are 4 or 5 generations removed from farming. Used to everybody lived on a farm, you worked on a ranch, and now we just don't have that anymore. So this event is a great way for us to show people something entertaining. It's a family-friendly event. It's very exciting. There's a lot of athleticism and skill, but it also shows all these events are based off of things that actually happen on a working ranch. So they're given obviously a more entertaining spin, and in a smaller arena, of course. But you know, you have athletes like Jason, who's actually a judge this year, but they are doing things that are very similar to what they're doing on the ranch. And it gives us an opportunity to educate people in our community about the industry that still exists, especially in Manatee County. We have a very deep history in agriculture. Florida was actually the first state to have cattle.
Oh,
really?
So,
the
first cowboys.
Yes, we had the first cowboys.
Oh,
yep.
I grew
so we're
up
very
being in
proud of
love
it.
with cowboys.
Oh, you did. Oh, watch out, Jason.
Watch out, Jason.
He's married. No,
We did forget to warn him about her.
I did. I will not tell his wife you said that. We won't make
That's
sure.
okay. I could be his great-grandmother.
You've also mentioned that part of the ranch rodeo is showing people how respectfully animals are treated in this culture as well.
We were just having this conversation. I equate it to a police officer and their canine. They are partners. The cowboys and their horses, there's such a love and respect when you see them out there in the arena. They are working as a team. They're working together. We take that very seriously. We take how we treat our animals, like we care the utmost respect for them. We are, you know, we want them to be safe and effective. And if they are well maintained, if they're well fed, if they're well cared for, then we have a better product. And cowboys, it's a business. They're running a business.
Right.
So you want to have a good end result, and you get that because you care for them. So when you come out to this event and you see these cowboys with their horses and these cowgirls, it's amazing to watch their partnership and their communication.
That's really neat.
Wow. So, and Jason's just a good example of that.
Tell us some of the events we're going to see at the rodeo this weekend.
Oh my gosh. So there is a kids event, which is really fun. It's called a boot scramble. and they go out and they take their shoes off and they mix them all up, and the kids have to find their shoes. And that's always really funny when they run back and there's dirt, and the parents are like, "Oh, great, thanks a lot." But we also have the calf mugging, we have the sorting, the team sorting, which is really fun. There's some great events out there.
Okay, speaking of events, we decided that we needed to learn a little bit more about being good cowgirls. So Jason, this is where I need you. You set up an event for us earlier today that basically mirrors a competition that's going to be held this weekend.
Well, so this particular event is actually at the state level. So we don't do it at this county rodeo, but I felt like it was the best to kind of show
what you're training for.
And also, quick disclaimer, because I do not normally compete in this event.
I
do my hair, and I don't want to be on a horse for it. That's why I'm not wearing my hat today. But okay.
All right, so Jason, we're going to play the video, and I want you to describe what Kelly is doing and why. What is this stampede part of?
Laying in our parking lot.
Laying in the parking lot.
So this event originated back 10 years ago at the state finals, and people like excitement. And there's 4 guys and a girl on each team, and that's mandatory. It can be more girls, but they have to have 1 woman on the team. And it gave them a chance to show their partnership and how they work together. But the scene was, you're laying out on a starry night out in the desert, and all of a sudden the enemies come up and they yell, "Stampede, stampede." So that's where you lay on your bedroll, which is the slicker, and your horse is unsaddled, and you have to roll your bedroll up and saddle your horse that fast.
So it's like a speed relay.
It's a speed relay.
Yeah, and I was not doing as fast as you normally should do.
You might not have won that competition.
No, I would not have won.
So a speed relay, but skills involved.
Skills involved.
Because saddling is not easy.
And there's always good laughs, because somebody usually forgets to tighten up their saddle. A horse isn't as broke as they claim he is. And so it makes for a good laugh.
Speaking of good laughs, the laugh is on our expense today. I'm sure this is no surprise. So Rebecca and I decided to be bunkmates and go as a team. So here we are, scrambling for boots and hats. It sort of looks like the Three Stooges.
On the ground under the stars, and they yelled stampede.
They did. So here goes the bedroll. I struggled with the boot.
I didn't. Sorry. She did. Yeah, you did. You guys were hustling. I was like, "How's my hair?"
Yeah, no, we were moving. So Rebecca and I teamed up together to get that bedroll on. So the saddle weighs a ton.
There they go.
So if somebody's doing that by themselves.
But you're working together.
But one girl would usually carry those,
One girl usually carry, yeah. And they're carrying it also from the end of the arena.
Oh, right. So it's a long.
This is a long.
But they're not doing it in a skirt normally.
No, we did do it in a dress.
You get extra points.
Here's the shocking part.
We were able to took a little help, and I know Jason had to come correct the way I winched that together there. The horse is the most docile animal on the face of the earth. So thank you for bringing me a broke horse.
Poco's world famous.
Yes, Poco is a great guy, and he even tolerates Stephanie's mount.
Get it, girl. That is
It's a hidden skill every day, people.
That is great. If this doesn't work out, you can go to the rodeo.
You know what? I like this life of being a cowgirl, and you will like it too. Absolutely, you're going to want to check out the 10th annual Manatee Rodeo. I love what a part of Manatee County history this is. It is at the fairgrounds in Palmetto, coming up on February 17th, which is Saturday, of course. You're going to want to go to the Manatee Cattlemen website for more information. Thanks for helping us out, Cowboys.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to learn about our cruising travel options. Linda, this will be more your speed.
Oh, yes.
ABC 7, the Suncoast's official Florida lottery station.
I heard about the Detoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Detoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Detoli Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
This is an ABC 7 News Update.
Hello, I'm Scott Dennis. Here's what's coming up at 5 o'clock. Just one day before the deadly shooting in Broward County, the Florida Senate backing a bill that could dedicate more funding to schools for mental health services. And state and national lawmakers making calls for action today, the issues they're advocating for in the wake of the shooting. Check on our weather now with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob?
It just keeps going, Scott. Beautiful day today again. Lots of sunshine. Temperatures warming into the low 80s. It's cooled a little bit because of a west-southwest wind, but still above average, 76 degrees right now. And the humidity at 67%, and the pressure still remaining high at 30-23, and just off the coast of Florida now. That high pressure dominating it with that east to southeasterly wind throughout the morning and early afternoon. Now we have a little sea breeze has kicked in. We don't expect much in terms of rainfall at all. Temperatures inland 82 in Orlando now, 76 in Sarasota. We'll have more coming up at 5. See you then.
Watch Good Morning Suncoast on ABC 7, weekdays starting at 5.
I'm Anne. I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me and me help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
what could be treasure.
Pal's my most advanced android. This is awesome. You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Thousands of award-winning Honda SUVs are on sale from $189 a month during the Honda President's Day sales event. You've got to see these SUVs. Get a surprisingly spacious 2018 HR-V, $189 a month, or step up to Pilot for $289 a month with available seating for 8. Plus, we have Motor Trend's SUV of the Year, the 2018 CR-V, and Ridgeline, a Car and Driver's 10 Best, all on sale for up to $3,805, less than the competition, at your local Honda dealer.
Invest in Kids is a $7.5 million project to build a new Boys and Girls Club in South Manatee County. I'm Caleb Grimes, and I was a club kid. It's where I learned important life lessons, leadership, integrity, responsibility, and baseball. Thousands of kids attend the Boys and Girls Clubs, and after years of use, their club is slowly falling apart. Help us invest in kids. Make your donation today.
Whether you want to sail away on the deep blue sea or meander down a river past quaint towns and villages, Cruise Vacations offers something for everyone. Monique Ross from Crystal Cruises and Ryan Hilton from Admiral Traveler here to tell us about some of our travel options. Welcome. Great to have you with us.
Thank you.
So I just read a report yesterday that J.D. Power says that the cruising industry is the fastest growing with everything in vacations right now. What is it for every age group that turns people on about cruising so much?
It's the simplicity. You get on board, you pack and unpack one time, you get to see various different destinations. For us, because we're in the luxury end of the industry, we're seeing that grow in double-digit numbers, over 30% over the last year, just in luxury travelers coming and kind of stepping up their vacations and their destinations.
I think people used to worry about, being stuck on a ship with nothing to do, and that seems to certainly not be a problem anymore. Let's start by talking about the big ships. So they just keep getting bigger and bigger. It's absolutely amazing. Tell us about some of our big ocean cruise options and destinations and popularity.
Absolutely. With Crystal Cruises, we started off as a luxury cruise line. We do have 2 ocean ships. We do tend to keep them of a smaller nature, less than 1,000 passengers, because that's our client base and that's what they're looking for. They travel around the world. We have butlers in the suites. You have multiple restaurant choices to partake in when you're on board, entertainment, educational lectures. It goes back to guests don't want to just be stuck on a ship. Yes. So when they're doing these destinational areas, we're giving them excursions and choices of how they're going to do. If they want, like food, you have a food segment coming up. People love food. They're going to go and eat and cook food with a local, family, or they're going to go to museums and learn about history, or they're going to do biking and trekking up through the mountains. And we're going to talk in a second about something great that Admiral Travel is partnering with us. But our river and our yacht experience that we offer, 62 guests on the yacht.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. So first of all, you have the big ships options, and that's for some people.
Absolutely.
Now, we're hearing a lot more about river cruises, which obviously is a little bit of a smaller boat, but even outside of the ship, what is that experience like?
It is very destination driven. Our guests tend to want to do our river experience because of the destinations. And we do the Danube, the Rhine, the Main, the Moselle River, anything from 7 to 16 days.
And you're reaching places that if I don't have a river boat or ship, I'm not going to be able to get to.
Plus, you're going to miss some of the beautiful scenery. A lot of these castles and these waterways are the draw to the area that you're going. So, and then you're being able to be in a 5-star hotel the entire time. Our ship is a floating hotel, and you have Michelin-inspired foods, you know, food sourced locally. It's absolutely spectacular, and that's the draw of this new experience of travel.
And then here's a phrase I wasn't even very familiar with, yacht cruising. What is yacht cruising?
Just what it sounds like.
That's what I'm thinking. So literally I can be on a yacht with a small group of intimate friends?
Our smallest yacht is 62 passengers, and she's in the Caribbean for season.
Not a very small yacht.
She's not a very small yacht, but we charter her. It's amazing how many guests will come and work with our travel partners like Admiral Travel and charter the vessel out for their own personal use. We're over in the Adriatic and Seychelles in season, and what's unique is you can get to those really tiny ports of call that these big cruise lines can't get you to.
Right.
You can't get to them. You just pull right up into the little harbors. It's spectacular.
Well, and that's a nice twist because once you've taken a few of the big cruises, you've been to those big ports.
Absolutely.
But you may want to go back and experience a different part, especially in the islands.
Correct.
All right, well, Ryan.
Missed this.
Yeah,
I
there's
love it.
lots of options here. I know you are now working with Crystal with a very different opportunity. Tell us about this flight, Crystal Sky, and what it's all about.
Sure. It's a new addition to the Crystal portfolio and a very welcomed addition. It is taking the luxury travel industry and luxury travel for the travelers to another level. The ability to go internationally in a 777 wide-bodied, only 80 seats on the aircraft. All of them lay flat, all of them really big screens. It has a stand-up bar. It's got a sitting area where you can take your meals at tables away from the main cabin. So we have partnered with Crystal Cruises and a very famous South African safari brand, Singita. And next May, leaving from Sarasota, 80 travelers will be on that jet heading to South Africa for a week-long safari in 2 Singita safari locations in South Africa.
That's amazing. I know Admiral are South African travel experts, so it's nice that you are able to take your favorite destination, I know, and then work with Crystal to do that. Linda, you've done that flight commercial. It's a long way.
Oh my
so to be able to do it like that.
Yes, yes. That's the only bad part, and you take that away.
Absolutely. You know, the air travel is one part that certainly could be improved, and this is a major improvement.
Wow. All right.
This sounds
That is
great.
absolutely
That would be
wonderful.
perfect.
By air or by sea, some amazing travel opportunities. And to find out about all of them, whether it's Crystal Cruises or Crystal Sky private flights, you can contact Admiral Travel and find them at admiraltravel.com. Coming up next, February's the month for love. Just because Valentine's Day has passed doesn't mean there isn't more.
It's time to take a road trip.
Burn rubber for Birmingham, where you can feed your need for speed at Barber Motorsports Park and Museum. Now this gets my motor running. Meet Iron Men. Hey there, big guy. And make a date with your 9-iron. Feed the animals at the zoo and the birds. Then enjoy the award-winning restaurant scene. Alabama has a road trip with your name on it.
Which one you gonna take?
Don't allow your weight to threaten your health or control your future. Excess weight or obesity can cause emotional and physical health risks. But you can take control. The Your Weight Matters campaign offers free resources and tips to help you measure and understand your weight. Take the Your Weight Matters Challenge. The free toolkit prepares you to speak with a healthcare provider about your weight. Your weight does matter. Take the challenge and take control today.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
what to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Give kisses. Give kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon? You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Growing up, my mom was afraid of the water, something she did not want me to feel.
So I enrolled Missy in swim lessons.
It changed my life.
Missy Franklin.
And now you can do the same for someone that you love.
There's nothing more precious than your child's well-being.
So act now, before it's too late.
I'm glad I did.
Thanks, Mom. Visit usaswimmingfoundation.org to find, get, or give a swim lesson.
Okay, so if you didn't go out for Valentine's Day, because that whole middle of the week thing is a little bit hard for those of us working. Yes, I have not celebrated yet. We did want to point out that a lot of different places are doing their specials through this week, and Michael's on East is having their French Epicurean adventure continuing through the entire month of February. So on yesterday's show, Michael Klauber stopped by to preview their 3 French wines that are being featured this month, also as part of their wine club, and we got to experience the raspberry gâteau you see there.
Oh, that was so good.
Let me just tell you, those are little French cream puffs in there, and it was absolutely amazing. So you can see our segment featuring the French Epicurean Adventure online on our Facebook page and on our webpage as well. So be sure to check out my Suncoast view, and we'll have everything posted there. We're also going to talk about Brick's Barbecue and everything going on with Thunder by the Bay. We're headed to the kitchen.
Watch Good Morning Suncoast on ABC 7, weekdays starting at 5.
This is an ABC 7 News Update.
Hello, I'm Jacqueline Matter. Here's what we're working on for 5 o'clock. A second county here on the Suncoast asking you to download a life-saving app, how it has helped increase the survival rates of cardiac arrest victims in the area. Taking a quick look at First Alert traffic, right now we are seeing some construction work at the intersection of State Road 64 and I-75, but it does not look like it is affecting traffic. Let's get a check on our First Alert weather forecast. Excuse me.
Thank you. Dominating the weather now off the east coast of Florida right now. Winds will be out of the east around that area of high pressure, which are really warming things up today. Highs once again into the low 80s. So we had some nice weather today. Currently, we have mostly sunny skies, 76 degrees, and the dew point temperature 64. Winds are out of the west-southwest at 11. The pressure 30-23. That's way up there. That continues to rise. Temperatures currently along the east coast in the 80s, here in the mid-70s. More at 5.
ABC 7 News at 7, weeknights.
You know, fortunately, this was my first job out of college, so I was able to come back home and work in my hometown. I wore 2 hats. I was sports director and I was a news anchor. I did that for a few years and then decided to go full-time into news. Well, I love our team here at ABC 7. We have a great mix, and it really is a great mix of personalities, of experience, that meshes really well into a really strong team. I'm Scott Dennis, and I'm here for you.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Letting my friends online know I was quitting kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it. You can too.
For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
Tonight on ABC 7 News at 7.
It has happened yet again, this time out of Florida High School in Parkland near Fort Lauderdale. Another school shooting, scores injured. What happened? Why? And how do we stop these tragedies from happening as often as they seem to do? I'm Alan Cohn. We'll gather at the Trapezoid for the latest.
Tonight on ABC 7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
Coming up Friday at 4 on Suncoast View, the Roar of the Engines is headed back to the Suncoast. It is the 20th anniversary of Thunder by the Bay. We'll talk about how that motorcycle festival has grown to tens of thousands of people. Plus, it has a new location this year. Plus, we will meet unusual rescue animals, and they're looking for good homes. McCurdy's comedy headliner joins us, and we'll have Blue Mangrove Grill in the kitchen.
Welcome back, and we're here in the kitchen with Keith from Brick's Barbecue to get us ready for Thunder by the Bay this weekend, because it's half about the food and drink.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Friday night, big gathering in downtown Sarasota.
Correct.
You're partnered up with Thunder by the Bay, and you've done some special things on your menu.
Correct. After the bike rally, we were open later for those people that are out in the streets after midnight. Come on into the Bricks and have some good food and some cocktails.
All right, this is going to be a lot of fun. So pimento cheese on the menu.
Yes, pimento cheese. This is on our appetizer menu. You can get this at any time when you come into Bricks. We decided to do this because it's something you can do at home, and it's pretty easy. A lot of our foods deal with the smoked meats and such, which is harder to take care of when you're at home.
Right.
So let's do this pimento chease.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to start with the mayonnaise base.
How much mayonnaise?
All right.
A lot.
A lot. Don't ask.
Yeah, don't ask. The 2 cups of mayonnaise, okay? We're gonna put all our basic ingredients here right now. This is Japanese vinegar. That's gonna add a little sweet and sour to it.
I don't have that in my
I was going to say, that's not a basic ingredient.
This is
for me.
Valentina hot sauce. It's a hot sauce that we like to use. It's got some good flavoring in there. You can taste a little bit of cumin throughout it. A little
Is it
coriander.
real hot?
It is spicy, but it's good spicy. Go ahead.
yeah.
Those are our smoked jalapenos that we smoke in-house. That gives it a little Bricks flair also.
And I have
a
none
little
of this
salt
in
and
my
white
house.
pepper.
There we go. Everything's
All right.
in there.
Everything. Now we put the pimentos in there. All right. We're going to turn this noisy thing on here.
That's all right. We'll let it do some work.
Stand back.
Yeah, good job. Knew that was going to happen, huh?
I know how kitchens
So you've
work.
cooked before. All right. We're just going to make sure that's all mixed together, smooth and nice.
Okay.
And then we're going to add our cheeses. We have a sharp cheddar and smoked
all of
Gouda.
it?
Usually we add it in 3 stages, but I'm not sure how much time we have. I'll help you with that in there. And we do this with a whisk attachment and not a paddle. Chef Judy was really nice to let us use her mixer here.
What kind of cheese is that?
This is smoked Gouda.
Okay. Yum. So this is definitely a Bricks take on a pimento cheese.
Definitely,
We've got a lot of smoke in it.
Exactly.
I like that.
That's exactly it. We like those smoky flavors at Bricks, obviously. So we're going to bring that together a little bit. Now this is going to be challenging. Usually the whisk attachment will break up the cheeses really well, so it'll incorporate a lot smoother. Well, let's see how we.
We don't mind We don't mind chunky cheese. As long as you use cheese, we're happy.
Okay.
Maybe we'll step back.
Yeah.
All right.
Here it goes.
I'm trying to break the cheese down, but.
Worth a little cheese.
Oh, yeah, did I get you? Sorry. All right, so it is a little problematic without the whisk, but nonetheless.
All right. We'll take a look inside. We understand.
So the deal is that even though it looks really liquidy right now, because cheese are broken down, but even when you first make it, it's still going to look a little.
Oh, I don't know. That looks pretty good.
It looks good to me.
It's going to look a little loose, but you need to refrigerate it for about an hour, 2 hours before you serve it, and it'll set up.
All right. Well, while we have you here, let's take a quick little tour of some of the other things that you've got going on. And I really want you to point out anything that is special for Thunder by the Bay, because proceeds then are going to the children's charities.
Right. That's specific to our cocktails.
Okay.
We have the Easy Rider that we talked about with the local Siesta Key rum.
Tell us about the other one. Linda, you've got one down there you can hold up.
This is the Rolling Thunder.
All right, what's in a Rolling Thunder?
Buffalo Trace bourbon. So maybe I don't know. Maybe you'd like that, Stephanie. And it's got some peach schnapps. Okay, so yeah, it's really good for the cold, as we've all discussed just now. So if you have a little flu or a little cold, hit the bourbon.
Come see Bricks. All right, Bricks Barbecue partnering up with Thunder by the Bay. Special cocktails with proceeds going to charity. And, of course, all the great bar bites that are always on the Bricks Smoked Meats menu. I think I see some burnt ends here.
Bacon burnt ends.
And I've been checking on your fried pickles and beans.
She's been eating them in the commercial breaks.
They're very, very yummy. So lots of great snacks. Great reason to be at Bricks Smoked Meats on Friday night. And we love things that are for a good cause. All right, thanks for joining us, Keith.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Rebecca, we couldn't have done it without you today.
Thank you, Linda.
Happy you are here, happy and healthy, and also thank you for being a good cowgirl partner.
Oh, yeah.
We got it.
That was really
we got
cool.
that.
Really
Yeah,
cool.
that's a good experience. Lots of great events this weekend here on the Suncoast. Take some time, enjoy the Suncoast view. Cheers.